Welcome to the Queer Confidence Podcast, the podcast to help you become your most confident queer self. I'm your host, he, she, they, Coach Alex Ray, and I haven't always been this confident. In fact, I used to be super insecure. And through this show, I want to share with you what's worked for me, my clients, and my guests so that you can become more confident. Hello, unicorns! Welcome to the last episode of this erotic series. Woo! Has this series been spicy or what? I've just loved creating it for you and having these amazing boundary-pushing conversations with you. Y'all know I love to talk about things that are a little outside the box, a little edgy. I just enjoy it so much because, I don't know. Well, one, I deeply feel like comfortable and curious with these topics. And two, I love creating that comfort for others around discussing these same things. So it has just been an absolute joy and thrill for me to have these conversations with you the past, couple months now, maybe month and a half or so. Wild. So wild. So today we're going to talk about masturbation and how masturbation can actually be a tool not only just for your sex life, but really for your entire life, and how it can actually be a way that you can build your confidence. So first of all, I just want to start by saying the reason, let's just zoom out here, you all. The reason that all of these different sexual metaphors are so effective for your confidence and so effective for just living and being yourself and having your back is because the sacral chakra is where both our sexual and creative energy reside. And it's where our confidence is centered as well. So these things are all related. They all go hand in hand. And so when you boost maybe your confidence in your sexuality, you're going to also boost your confidence in how you show up at work or in relationships outside the bedroom, like with your friends, or your family. As you boost your creativity, you're also going to find that your sex drive may go up and your sexual energy may be heightened as well. And as you build your confidence, you will notice that your creativity increases. You start being more daring to show off your life as a work of fucking art. And that's what we all are. We are all living, breathing, walking works of art. That's how I am able to have the confidence to be so much myself online and offline. You all know the way that you see me dress online is exactly how I show up in real life. I'm currently in beautiful, that blue couture jacket and pants. I took the jacket off. I'm a little hot, but my pants, I've got that on, a net shirt. My eyes have these gorgeous wingtips with blue eyeshadow and black and smoky and sexy. And I went to lunch with a friend that I haven't seen in 6 years, 7 years. Crazy. Back in the day, we knew each other when we were drinking like nutcases. Yeah. Whew, that was a time. And let's see, what else? I lost my train of thought. Oh, and I went grocery shopping, right? This is how I live my life. I'm a walking, breathing, loving work of art, queer art. And the same is so possible for you as well, my friend. You really can show up this way. And through this series, that was my intention for you, is that you take these sexual metaphors that you may already know of or be practicing or have been curious about, and you may use them literally and figuratively in your life to increase your confidence, to increase your power to show up as authentically you and have your own back. So, masturbation in particular, as we're going to talk about it today, the reason that it is so powerful is because think of how what it is. Let's define it, right? Masturbation is just sexual stimulation on your own, right? It's your happy time, your connection with your body and yourself and your sacral chakra. It's your connection with your energy. It's a spiritual thing. It's a physical thing. It's an every level thing. And I think that this is part of why it has been so demonized in religion because, in a religion where the powers that be want to control people's actions and behavior, then you feeling empowered is very much against that. And if you take your sexuality into your own hands, then you'll take the other areas of your life into your own hands. Remember, if these are all related, they all go together. It's why like certain art has been demonized, right? Let's monitor creativity, let's monitor sexuality, and therefore we will also suppress people's confidence. Now, whether or not people were thinking about this consciously or not, I have no idea. They're probably not that creative. Maybe they are. Maybe they did this on purpose. Maybe it's a giant conspiracy. I don't know. Who really cares? That's the effect, though. Right? That is the effect, is low self-esteem and heavy, heavy shame. When you demonize pleasure, when you demonize sexuality other than what fits in a rigid, small container. And today, we're going to crack that wide fucking open. We are going to really take back your pleasure for your life. And yes, literally with masturbation, but also in other areas of life. When you think that the only way to have pleasure is by doing it in a way that gets somebody else off, then you've lost your autonomy here. And it almost is like, think about this in like terms of people pleasing, right? If you're only allowed to have sex as far as it creates a baby, or especially for people socialized as women, if you're only allowed to have sex as long as it pleases your man, your husband, then of course that pattern carries over into every other area of life. Oh, I'm only allowed to do things that are pleasing to others. Right? I can't have autonomy over my pleasure. I'm not supposed to. It's wrong. It's evil. It's bad. Something's wrong with me if I am enjoying my life, if I am saying yes or no based on my own desires or my own pleasure, my own feelings about a situation. So think about masturbation as really a metaphor for life in which you get to get off on whatever you want. You can take any scenario and say, hey, this is something I want to get off on. This is so helpful too when you think about the BDSM episode and the kink episode and how you can turn things around and derive pleasure out of the taboo, how you can derive pleasure out of noticing the power plays, how you can derive pleasure out of observing where you actually maybe wanted to experience pain, and how pain is really not that much different from pleasure. You are taking ownership of your own experience now. You're like, hey, world, now you're just a big old fat dildo for me to get off on. You're a big old fleshlight for me. You're a big old whatever, a little vibrator for me to have my way with. Okay, thank you to my boss for showing up like an asshole today. You are providing stimulation for me to get off on. I've been doing this a lot recently in the process of dating and getting to know someone and realizing how, okay, him just living which is amazing. I love to watch him live. I just adore him. I adore the way that he lives and the way that he shows up for himself and everything. Like, nothing here is wrong, zero judgment on any of it. And yet my nervous system sometimes is like, "Whoa! Why did he say that? Why did he do that?" And I'm like, okay, I do not need to be panicking about this. This is a little silly. I don't want to be panicking over this. I don't want to be feeling this way. I don't want to be feeling this anxious or this emotionally activated / triggered, whatever words you want to use. And I get to use these experiences then, like my own vibrator, right? Like, it's stimulating something in me, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that. I don't like that. Why do I feel that way? And then I question, like, do I really want to be feeling this way about this? And the answer has consistently every time so far been like, no, I really would love to be okay with this. And so then it's a beautiful opportunity to go inwards. When you notice that you've been very emotionally activated or triggered, whatever word you want to use, then it's an invitation for you to pause and go, do I really want to feel this strong of an emotion over this thing? Or is this just neural pathways firing because this is the way that I need to feel as a kid because it was safe that way? Literally, like, ask yourself, is this how you want to be responding anymore? And if the answer is no, then perfect. Now you get to use the situation as your own stimulant, your own little stimulator, your own thing that's like, ooh, wait, hold on, I'm sensing something. You're sensing life. And do you like the way that your nervous system is responding, or do you maybe want to change it? Is something actually going perfectly fine and you're responding as if the world is doomed? I have done that so many times, which is why I'm freaking loving this process. It's allowing me to know myself deeper. And that's what every life circumstance, every life scenario, every experience you have is truly an opportunity for you to notice how you respond and observe it, and then use that to get to know yourself deeper. Sometimes you will go, that was not how I wanted to respond. And then you can look at it and you can observe it and you can find out where you've got some work to do. Other times you're going to respond and you're going to think, yeah, I like how I responded to that. I don't want to feel okay with this scenario, like, children being murdered, for example. That, like, I can't think of any situation in which you'd want to be like, oh, actually, I feel totally fine with this. I don't want to feel yucky knowing this is happening at all, right? Some discomfort is supposed to be just uncomfortable and it's not a problem. Other discomfort you're going to observe is, oh, this is not how you want to respond to it. So that's the first little suggestion for you. Start using your life situations, especially those things that emotionally activate you, as a vibrator. Start getting excited for when your sensations are getting tingled by these things. Now, let's go back to shame. Okay? Shame shuts everything down, particularly your inner child and your creativity. It's like the biggest enemy to sacral energy. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're holding sexual shame, it's also going to translate into other areas of your life as well. For example, you may notice that you are not open to receiving in the bedroom. You're shut off from your feminine energy in the bedroom. You really only like to be the giver, that you only like to be in your masculine energy. What you may notice then is that it's happening in other areas of your life too. For example, I have a client that we were talking about money and her being open to receiving money or not. And she happens to be more in touch with her masculine energy, both in the bedroom and in life. And so she loves to deliver things. She loves to, in her business, like deliver her service or product to her clients, but she feels shut off from the receiving of money from her services. It's the same thing that she can experience sometimes in the bedroom. So think about that for yourself. What are the ways in which you are open to receiving pleasure or closed off from receiving pleasure in the bedroom? And then how is that also carrying over into other areas of your life? Particularly with masculine and feminine energy, are you more practiced at giving or are you more practiced at receiving? Where do you want to stretch yourself to be comfortable with the other? How do you want to do that? And so you can then take this concept of masturbation figuratively and go find ways in life to stimulate yourself, put yourself into situations where you are forced to be the receiver or forced to be the giver, depending on which one is less comfortable for you, and relax into it and know, oh my God, it's going to be really uncomfortable. But I know the process, be willing to be uncomfortable, take action. I'm here, I'm showing up for this, and I'm going to have my back on the other side, meaning I'm going to know that this is going to feel like shit, and I'm going to set myself up for success. So some ideas for you are maybe have some friends that you could call after a certain scenario. Maybe you go and you journal afterwards. Maybe you listen to some music that really pumps you up and affirms you. Maybe you just decide, hey, as the shit talk comes up, you're going to also notice it and accept it. That's very important, my friend. You need to accept the shit talk, like accepting, oh, this is part of how I act. Instead of, you could shit talk yourself for shit talking yourself. You know what I mean? When you're beating yourself up and then you beat yourself up for beating yourself up. Ugh. Okay. So take this and have your plan ahead for how you're going to have your own back on the other side when you do the uncomfortable thing. Maybe now, to take it literally, you're in the bedroom, and how can you, just with yourself, right? We're talking about masturbation here. How can you stimulate yourself in a way that's either giving or receiving to stretch those boundaries with your masculine or feminine energy, whichever one happens to be more closed off? And how can you push the boundaries of shame as you masturbate? We all have those things that we're like, hey, you know what? That would actually be kind of like, that would be good. I will totally get off on that. Like, that is going to activate so much pleasure in my body. But you know what? I don't think it's okay. Something's wrong with people who do that. It's not okay to get off that way. It's gross. For example, if you're someone that has a prostate and you really want some stimulation down there and you're like in the moment and like, you didn't clear out beforehand, and ask yourself, like, does it always need to be squeaky clean every time? Or is you like holding back from this pleasure because you got to go get everything perfect first? How could that possibly be reinforcing the belief that everything in life must be perfect to be acceptable or pleasurable, and that it must be perfected first before it can be enjoyed? Are you also thinking that you have to be perfect to be acceptable? It's kind of interesting how these ways of being with yourself sexually translate into the ways you're being with the world with your friends, with your family, with yourself. The way that you run your life is going to be very similar and show you lots of parallels to how you masturbate. That's pretty cool. So I offer it as an option to you, as an idea that you start taking a look at what feels shameful for you to masturbate with and try it out. Try it out in order to just, if nothing else, show yourself that, hey, it wasn't that big a deal. The shame or these problems that you had built up in your head about certain ways of getting off were not that big a deal and pleasurable as hell. And then how might that start translating into every other area of your life? How many things are you avoiding doing because you think it's not going to be good enough or it's going to feel too awful? And yet, if you were to do it, it might be okay. Hell, you might even get off on it. You might even enjoy it, right? Not literally get off on it, but you might, or maybe literally, I don't know. We're now mixing metaphor and reality. Some questions to ask yourself as you are exploring your new territory of masturbation are, what would loving touch look like? What would loving touch feel like to you? What would loving touch be? What techniques have you wanted to try but felt afraid of? Ask yourself that question. Are there toys or props, etc., that would be enjoyable? Again, always think of loving touch, loving sensation. Masturbation is a loving reminder that you, your body, your being are perfect and worthy as you are. You, my friend, you are worthy of experiencing your pleasure. And that's what I want to offer to you above anything else today, that you value your pleasure, that you value your own worth, and that you begin self-pleasuring both physically and literally in life. No one else has to be having a good time for you to have a good time. It's not about the other people. You can't even control them in the first place. What you can control and what you can monitor is how you are enjoying the experience. So why not try that new thing out? Why not go out to that activity? Who cares if your friends want to go or not? Go without them. Go try it out. Go ask that person out, if for nothing else than to just see how your nervous system responds. Maybe you respond with terror as you even think about it. And how do you respond as they either reject you? Ooh, that's interesting, right? Is their rejection of you similar to the way that you already reject yourself? That's what it activates in you. It can only ever activate what you already give yourself. Oh my God, look at the metaphor looking at it or working in reverse. It's just like having sex with someone only really activates what you also allow yourself to have. It only can activate what you already are willing to give yourself. If you are closed off from being vulnerable and authentic, then how do you expect to ever receive true, loving, giving sex in the bedroom? You can't. You absolutely cannot, because you are shut off from that reception. Do you see it? It's so cool how it works in both directions. So that, my friends, is why I recommend, literally use this. Go masturbate. Go Touch yourself in ways that feel loving, ways that spark your curiosity, ways that affirm you are perfect and right just as you are, ways that remind you your pleasure is perfect and worthy of being noticed. And that you go out in life and do the same thing, that you affirm that your ways of finding pleasure are worthy. The things you like to do, the hobbies you have, the people you like to hang out with, it's all perfect. What a great conversation. This has been an absolute pleasure. So I want to give you a heads up, my unicorns, for what's coming. Over the next few weeks, I have some incredible interviews for you. And so that's what you're going to get the next several weeks are going to be all these amazing interviews from clients and with clients and with friends. I'm preparing for my move out to San Diego. I am so excited. And so I'm giving myself some space to really get into that and get out there. And so I'm thrilled to be passing off the creative energy that it takes for this podcast to others as I interview them. So get ready for some incredible conversations. They are amazing. And then I'll be back with you solo sometime in April is the plan. So I might pepper in a solo one here or there, but gonna be so good. All right. And if you, my friend, if you're ready to take this work deeper, I would love to work with you. It's fucking time. It's about time. Like, seriously, stop thinking about it and take action on it. So, you know, I have the iconic Queer Mastermind, which is for LGBTQIA plus leaders, entrepreneurs, everything. If you're in a position of some kind of leadership, if you're a podcaster, sex worker, producer, writer, blogger, coach, healer, this is your spot. The next one is going to open up in the summer. So go get on the wait list. The link is in the show notes. And that is actually how all of this sexual metaphor series came about, was because I developed these things as I was creating the iconic Queer Mastermind and realized that I'd been using them for myself in my own life and business. And so if you are ready to take these metaphors to the next level in your business, you want to get in on the next round. That's going to open up in a few months. So just, hold your horses and get on that wait list. And then I've got an upcoming thingamabob, an upcoming gathering, an upcoming coaching program. I'm really not sure, you all. All I know is that the spirit of my business is revealing something new and profound in a very slow, sensual, seductive way to me. And I'm not rushing it. I want to rush it, but I'm not rushing it. And so I'm not sure what it's going to exactly look like. I know it will have to do with healing sexual shame, with creating confidence, with feeling worthy, with knowing your right way in sex and relationships. So if you're curious about this thing that is just unfolding, being incepted and birthed through me, come join the unicorn herd, the unicorn flock. It's my email list. I just want to call it a fancy name, okay? The link is down in the show notes for that as well. So head down there, join the unicorn herd, and come with me as I discover this wild thing that is being birthed through me. And join if you feel called, because I'm telling you what, it's like, it's next level, y'all. And I don't even know the details yet. I just know this is the Immaculate Conception. And I'm so ready. So come join me. Let's just discover this together. I'm going to be just kind of dropping shit through the email list as it comes. Going to be giving you a real inside behind the scenes look as I'm understanding this thing that is being birthed through me, and get excited. Come along for the ride and have fun with me. All right. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, unicorns. And I'll see you in your inbox. Wait, don't go yet. I literally had this realization while I am driving in the car, and I need to share it with you right now at the end of this episode. Okay, one of the most powerful ways to use masturbation to really grow your confidence, I don't know why I didn't think to share this. So here it is. And this will shed a little more light on what I was vaguely talking about earlier with triggers that I've experienced during the dating process. So I've realized that as I am being adored, as I am being treasured for who I am authentically, it makes me wildly uncomfortable. My nervous system is like, whoop, something is wrong. We are supposed to only be appreciated for what we do for people, not for who we are. And of course, that is not how I want to be, right? Consciously, in many areas, I've worked on this over and over, and it's still showing up now. And that's okay. That's normal. I'm doing it. You will be doing it too. So if that's something for you, like, here's what it looks like for me. I actually will now masturbate, and as I'm masturbating, and particularly as I'm climaxing, I will say I'm appreciated for who I am. I am treasured. I am worthy of being admired. All of those things that right now seem a little bit like, oh no, that, I don't want that, right? They're like panic signals to my brain. I'm actually practicing literally getting off on these things. So I invite you to do the same thing. If you're noticing that there's a certain mantra, maybe it's a mantra, I don't know, but a certain mindset, a belief that you want to reinforce, you can literally masturbate to it and find that you can actually start creating pleasure for something that you do really want to feel pleasure around, but maybe currently have been actually having trouble seeing as something good and pleasurable, instead of something that your nervous system wants to tell you is wrong, and wrong with the world and wrong with you. All right, that's it. Enjoy this little extra special note at the end. And now, truly, I will see you around. Get on that email list. I want to share with you this amazing next chapter I'm birthing. Okay, see you there. Bye, unicorn. If you enjoyed this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend so they too can become more confident. You can also help more people find the show by leaving a 5-star review wherever you listen. And if you want to become a more confident queer with support from yours truly, head to coachalexray.com or use the link down in the show notes. I'm looking forward to working with you.